Hey everybody, welcome back. Doing another Loki video. This time it's episode 2. So if you have not seen episode 1 or 2, I advise you to go watch those and then come back, hopefully. So anybody who's new to the channel, check out the Discord link in the description below. We're doing a giveaway once we get to 10,000 subscribers. Doing all kinds of fun content, doing some mobile games for Marvel Future Revolution, Strike Force, and obviously got to do the MCU videos with Mike and Eddie. Love my buddies, all right? So let's go chat with the guys and see what we think about episode 2.
Bring me WolverThor!
All right, gents, what is going on? How are we doing?
Wonderful.
Good.
Hey.
Nice to see you. So, Loki episode 2, right? We got that on us. It's definitely ramping up. I'm liking what I'm seeing. I don't know about you guys, but I'm a fan so far.
I hate weekly episodes with more than I can tell.
Why? I mean,
It's good for us though, because there's
No, I just want to see it all. I want to see it all. I'm a prisoner of want to see it.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like we talked about this, I think, with WandaVision, where I like the fact that it gave us this opportunity of a week long where we can talk about it and, you know, theorize and what is this and what is that and blah blah blah. So
I also love the fact that like a lot of people, and when it comes to like episodics, if they're not locked into the first episode, like if it doesn't show them like enough to like bring them in, they're like, I don't want to see, I don't want to watch. I think it's so funny. Like, give it a chance. It's an episodic. I know it's been a while since we've done that, since like 2000, but like, give it a second.
Yeah,
it's just so funny.
Let it ferment some. You know, it's gotta get ready. You gotta get it ready. So all right, so really the first thing that we got and kind of that we're gonna talk about is Miss Minutes at the desk with Loki. She real? She not real? He's trying to hit her. She's jumping around. You can hear her feet clickety clack. I don't know what the heck's going on. I mean, what is that thing?
You wanna go?
No, you can start.
I don't know. It's just for her to be so like such a big part of the story. I don't know. I feel like she has to have a hand in something. I feel like maybe she might be part of the problem. I mean, like we've all seen movies where like a character like her controls a lot of the system, and then you find out it's really them. Like what was the movie with Will Smith back? It was iRobot. Yeah, where like the AI was in control of really everything. It wasn't just, you know, it wasn't the robot, it was her. So like it'd be kind of interesting if like that was like Miss Minutes as well.
There's a good X-Files episode like that too.
Right. And then when Loki asked if she was like real or not, she didn't really give a straight answer. And you're like, all right, well, there's questions there. Yeah. So
I got you, Mike. You got any opinions?
I'm right now going to think she's very much, I'll equate her to like Iron Man's Jarvis, where it's a answering being, but it's a not real thing. Because she said, she was like, I'm pre-recorded, but I'm also not pre-recorded. It's like a mix of both. So I feel like it's very much like Jarvis, where like, you know, Tony Stark would talk to Jarvis and be like, hey, what's this? And again, it's a robot, but like it's intelligent at the same time. So who knows if it has more implication, like Eddie's thinking in the show. Very well could be. But who knows? But still weird, creepy, you know, hologram computer robot.
Yeah, I wonder if it is some sort of like timekeeper Jarvis that they've actually pre-recorded because they understand how time will work and they have it placed in the timeline to make sure certain things happens.
That would be wild.
Yeah, that's also
that'd be wild.
Yeah, I could see that. So, all right. So then from there we go to Wisconsin, Oshkosh. I think it was 1985, if I remember right.
84, 85.
Yeah, somewhere in the 80s, right? And it's one of those like
medieval times.
Yeah, medieval. Thank you.
Fair.
Yep. And you know they're going there. Well, the Minutemen go into that tent, and something happens. That one of them starts attacking the other ones. They all get knocked out, and then the one that started attacking them gets kidnapped by the bad variant Loki, whatever you want to call that variant. And then, you know, shortly after that, Mobius and Loki all show up and they're checking out the scene, and Of course, Loki's doing his Loki trickster thing and trying to figure out some stuff. But when you guys were seeing this, I mean, there was a lot there, but what were your takeaways from seeing this? Mike, we'll go to you first to see if you had anything specific.
For one, I would say when this variant took control of the one TVA officer, whatever you want to call her, I thought the fight scene was like entertaining, but the other officers like took way too much time to realize that she was like beating everyone up. Right? Like she started like kicking someone's butt, and they just like stood there being like, "What are you doing?" Right. And then they all ended up getting beat up. Whatever. That's regardless. Still entertaining, still good. A lot of questions on what this variant's powers are, because she touched the officer's like temple, took mind control, whatever you want to do, and then took control of her. And then Loki did his like mischievous thing, trying to act like he was helping. I think Mobius like kind of realized it all along, but I still want to know what the like reset bombs, whatever they're called, do, because they set one there and they reset it, but I like don't understand really what it does, because I feel like something still happened there, but I don't know what they reset it to, if that makes sense. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see what those things actually do to clear or reset or do whatever.
Yeah, there was at a point that they talk about pruning a lot. That's the term that they're using for it, is pruning. And as they were walking into the tent, I know that Mobius quizzed Loki about that. And I actually want to go back and rewatch it, because they're doing us a little bit of a favor by trying to explain some of these things. Because I have I have a similar question there. But Eddie, where are you at with that?
I want to take a step back before they go into Alabama, when they're showing they're all standing in a circle, and like Mobius is showing like a different like a variety of variant Lokis.
Yes, yeah, that's right.
And like there's about like 8 or 9 of them, and they're all different versions of him, but they all have like similar qualities and like similar abilities and powers and stuff like that. I think one of them was holding like Tour de France cup, which I was like, what? Like, I was like, what the heck?
Also, I felt like one looked like the Hulk.
Yeah, it did. Yeah. And then when they go to Alabama and they're at the Ren Fair and they're doing everything, and
Wisconsin.
Yeah, Wisconsin. Yeah, and I don't know. What Mike said pretty much covered it, but I think. Okay, so the reset charge is meant to say this is the line. Yeah. Say this is the line. The reset charge is meant to like take this line and put it back into place, right? That's the idea, right? Yeah. But then when we get to like the end of the episode, and she does her move, the lines go this, like they do the opposite.
Reverse lines.
Yeah, so I want to talk more about that when we get to that, because that's interesting because it's supposed to reset the line and make everything hunky-dory.
That's why I don't know what exactly it does.
Right. That's so then when she uses it later, it doesn't do this. Okay. Yeah, we'll get there. But yeah, I'm with Mike.
I got you. And yeah, we'll get there. I'll remember that. So, okay. Yeah, I didn't really have much there, other than it was kind of a nice little scene. Showed Mobius being, pretty smart and onto Loki, which I enjoyed. And then shortly after that, it was about research. Mobius and Loki were talking about research. Mobius was trying to get him to do some stuff and figure out what the heck was going on. There was an extended scenes with Loki looking through books and files and being bored and talking to the librarian, putting the thing. One of the things during this scene that I noticed and liked is that if you look up at the upper levels, those are the levels that were on the buttons of the elevator. I don't think there's anything special about that at this point. It's just kind of cool.
For, real quick, sorry to cut you off.
No, okay.
What is it? The credits? I think it's the credits when it's going through some of those combination of letters and numbers. There's one that it says access denied. I'm not sure what level that is, but I just want to make I want to make note of that.
I'm guessing that's the level the timekeepers are on, or there's some secret something there, obviously.
Well, he had access denied from everything other than his file.
Yes, but Eddie's talking about
the elevator keys.
The elevator key. There was a scene in the credits.
Sorry. Yes, you're right.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about also like his library access was also the same. He has no access to anything, basically.
Correct. Except for that one old file, the one file of his, right?
Right. Yes.
as Loki's researching, he eventually figures out that the bad Loki variant, we'll call for now, is hiding in pre-apocalyptic times, which I thought was pretty genius. I thought it was pretty cool how he figured that out. I don't know, during this whole research scene and all that, I mean, anything I didn't mention that you guys are kind of thinking about, Eddie?
So when he's in the library trying to figure things out, and the librarian like shushes him,
Yeah.
I think he goes to talk to her, if I'm correct.
Yeah, eventually, yeah.
And what does he ask her? He asks her to see like books about the TVA and the timekeepers, and it's like restricted. And like, I don't know, it's funny how like there's no information on that. Well, I mean there is, but it's not allowed access to him. Something about them just doesn't feel great.
Yeah.
I just don't trust it. Like the same way I didn't trust your boy in WandaVision and then the other dude in
It's basically the government. You can't trust the government. That's
exactly.
Yeah.
Because to know anything about the timekeepers, like the beginning and the ending of time, that's you want to know something about the place, how it works, other than like what you're given on the screen, or what you're given through like your tutorials through Miss Minutes. But yeah, so when he dives into the research, it's just the theory is actually kind of genius that she's hiding out in pre-apocalyptic moments, so that when it's all said and done, that moment doesn't exist anymore. It's already dead and gone. Like it happened, so she was never there. And then just when they go back and actually explore Pompeii, and he's like causing all the havoc, knowing how it's all going to turn out. I thought it was going to backfire for a second, but then it didn't. I was like, all right, cool, it played off. But I thought that was really funny. Mike, you can go ahead.
No, I mean, I thought one of two things. One, the interaction where he's trying to describe to Mobius how it works and ruining his salad, and just like ruining it. That was, again, their back and forth is very entertaining. And also when he goes to Pompeii and he's doing everything and Mobius realized like it works. At the very end, when the volcano is erupting, he had very much like an Iron Man 1 moment where he's like this, and like the smoke is coming up behind him. I thought that was like, whether it was on purpose or not, I thought that was a very like Iron Man 1 at the very beginning of that movie when he does the explosion.
Yeah.
I thought that was like maybe a tiny callback, but either way, that's what I thought of as soon as I saw it.
Gotcha.
Sure.
But
This will be the second one this time.
Yeah.
Second callback technically in the series.
Yes.
Yeah, because the
Yes.
sand and all that stuff.
Right.
Yeah. Maybe they're trying to say this is like the true kickoff of, this version of the MCU, this phase, because like Iron Man was kind of like the first thing that kicked everything off. Granted, we've had some stuff in between, the last phase and this one that anyway, I just thought of that as you were kind of saying it, but yeah,
but that's assumed that scene happened, and my mind went really initially to Iron Man 1 when he lets off that missile and he goes,
you just
and then the smoke comes up through him.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I did enjoy that Pompeii scene, just Loki kind of being a goofball, and I don't know why. I just thought that was a lot of fun. So.
Yeah. Also, I like how he was talking to all the people, and they were like, "Who's this asshole?" Like they didn't even
yeah.
They weren't even like weirded out. They just were like, "Huh."
Yeah, when he's just like, "We're from the future," and it's just like, "Oh my god," and Moby's just sitting there.
They didn't believe a word until the volcano like really erupted.
Yeah, I mean, can you imagine being like back then they're in their like animal clothes and all this stuff, and like and these guys are in suits and ties, and they're just like looking at them, but they're like moving their goats around, and I would be like, "Who are you? What are you doing here? Like, why?" I don't know. I just thought the whole thing was kind of weird, but.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it nonetheless. So yeah. What else? Anything else from that Pompeii scene that you guys want to throw out there?
I think so.
Okay. All right. So the next up, I believe was shortly after that, was Mobius in the office with Ravana. Okay, you guys, I know we talked about, you guys wanted to hit this scene a little bit. Cup rings, pencils, pens, so which one of you wants to take it first?
I'll let you take it, Mike.
No, you go. You
word?
got
Okay.
you got the yeah.
Okay. So he gets it. They have a very unique relationship, and I want to know more about it. I'm curious, like, if it's just like a superior and subordinate. I'm not sure what it is. But first of all, Renslayer's office is similar to where she sits in like that courtroom. It has the two heads and then the one behind her. similar to her office, it has the two on the side, and they're holding something, and then it has the one behind her, which its hands are open, kind of like in a very like, I don't know, very like a holy sort of way. I don't know what it is. That's very unique. And then he's noticing all of the different like items that she has from different time periods that the TVA has traveled over the years. And there's a snow globe from, I think it was San Diego. I think that's where it was from.
Yeah, I think so.
And then he was talking about like another like associate or another like agent or something like that. And which is interesting. And then while he's doing that, he gets a drink from her. He drinks it, puts it down on the table, and there's multiple rings from the cup on the table. And she's like, "Yeah, Mobius," and he gets a what do you call it?
Coaster.
Coaster. Thank you. And puts it underneath the cup and puts it down there, and but it's like, okay, so who's the other person? Is it like a version of him from like a different time? Like, who's the other person that would be in her office besides him? Is it Kang? I don't know. But that was a unique moment. He's trying to convince her that Loki's plan, or Loki's idea of the variant Loki, the lady variant, is hiding out in apocalyptic, moments in history to cover her tracks. And he's slowly convincing her that Loki, our Loki, can actually help solve this case. And finally gets approval from it. Which then leads us to the next part. I don't want to talk about the X, we're not there yet, but Mike, you can go ahead.
Yeah, no, I for one, I thought the multiple rings on the desk were very, like, I think there's a love interest in that scenario, even though she's his, superior.
Right.
But it was very much one of those things. The multiple rings kind of like, they just panned to that so like specifically that it was like he's been there so many times. Like they just drink scotch together all the time. Because he even said in terms of like the memorabilia she had, like he was like, some of that is mine. Like I wanted the roller skate that we got from whatever. So I think it's more than like a boss, like underling relationship. Because even when he signed off on the paperwork or whatever he had to sign, a specific pen that he was like, what pen is this? Like, I hope you're not like, seeing someone else. Like, it was a very, like, I forget what, Thor, you know what it said on the pen, right?
Franklin D. Roosevelt High School.
Yeah, so he was like, what pen is this? Like, I hope you're not seeing like anyone else on. Like, it was very much like a, what is this thing? And the way the camera pans, very much like on the rings, pan to that pen specifically, to where it made you like question something.
Yeah.
Whether it was like their relationship or like, I think there's maybe more to her than meets the eye, maybe a little. I'm not going like deep theories or anything, but the way the camera did things in that office was very specific. To where it wasn't just like a random conversation. Like they were trying to like give you maybe a little bit more than meets the eye. That's what I got from it.
Gotcha. Yeah, as I watched that scene, I was definitely, I felt a little love interest for sure. The rings thing, I noticed it, but I didn't think about it much more until we kind of talked tonight a little bit about, that and even the pen. I was kind of like, yeah, maybe there's something going on there. It's funny because I feel like in this scene, the tables have turned a little bit between Mike and I about WandaVision and theories and just like, is there deeper meanings in a cup circle on a table? And I'm like, look, as far as WandaVision, I didn't feel like I ever went that far, but I just want to bring this up right now so that you remember it in the future.
The only reason why I say that is because the TVA seems like a very straight and narrow thing where like nothing changes. It's almost like you follow the same path no matter what. It's like continuous circles, and anything off the beaten path should be questioned at this point.
I feel you.
They just run there.
Yeah, I just.
I get what you say. You can give me crap for it.
I mean, I got to take my moments,
Yeah, that's fine. But I think just the way the TVA has like shown themselves, it's like everything is the same no matter what, and anything off the beaten path is like wrong.
Yeah, yeah, I feel you. So, all right. So then, shortly after that, we get a scene where we're talking. I think it's Loki and Mobius are together again, and they're trying to figure out what to do and what is the right apocalyptic moment that this person might be hiding in or whatever. And Mobius remembers the kablooey gum and pieces it together through some research that it could be in this one particular time, and it was in Haven Hills, Alabama, I think, and it ended up being 2050, and you get a scene of that rocks cart and rocks on, and there's a whole bunch of Easter eggs in that. And anyway, why don't you guys, Mike, why don't you start that one and kind of give some of your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of turns out that like Loki is like a very, again, I don't know if it's like setting up, but he's like a very good detective apparently. Because Mobius has that thing where he finds the kablooey gum and he was like, this gum has only been in this certain amount of time, let's find out like natural disasters where this gum was here. Loki finds it almost fairly right away. And they're like, that's where we need to go. They set up their team and they like go to head there really to get things going. But yeah, I mean, again, I'm not going into crazy theories, but Loki has basically figured out so many things so easily, where it's like, why is this so easy for him?
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Like it's we can talk later about where we think the show is going and all that, but he's basically figured out everything almost initially right away in every aspect. Whether it be like the apocalyptic anomalies where you can hide in, whether it's almost like he's got all the answers, or he finds it. I know it's a TV show, but he's finding them very quickly.
Yeah. What do you think, Eddie? Or no, go ahead, Mike. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Bet. I want to take a step back a few scenes ago when they were sitting at the lunch table, not when he's doing the salad thing, but when they're just having kind of like a heart to heart, and he's asking about like what Mobius is like interested in. I love that he's a jet ski enthusiast. I love that he's like big on that, and he describes it as like, he describes it so like elegantly, like it's something that like he can't wait to do like if he ever leaves the TVA or whatever. Like if he like they harp on it so much that it has to happen in the show at some point where he gets on a jet ski and just like is free to do whatever.
I mean, Owen Wilson's gonna ride a jet ski in that show for sure.
It has to happen. But then Loki asks he asks him about the TVA, and he describes it as the TVA protects what came before, while the Timekeepers untangle the sacred timelines epilogue from its infinity branches, right? Which would result in no more Nexus events, order and peace at the end of time, right? He says it in a way that sounds very cult-like. Like, this is what you're supposed to believe, this is how it is, and there's no other way other than this is how you're supposed to handle this business in the TVA, right?
The whole aspect of the TVA has felt cult-like.
Right, for sure. Yeah. Nexus events are what occur when the sacred timeline they occur because the timeline isn't perfected yet. So the Timekeepers, they dictate which random strands need to be clipped in order to make the timeline perfect. And once it's complete, they all meet at the end of time. It just feels like when they took all the timelines, just put them into one big one, they're trying to essentially clip out which ones don't belong and make it perfect, and which is when all those Nexus events happen, because they weren't supposed to happen. They're trying to keep it, but it's almost like they're trying to dictate the way that life should be when you can't really do that. So their whole approach to this timeline thing is very one-sided. It just there's something weird there. Obviously, I can't wait to learn more about it. But when he has the epiphany about the kablooey gum, and they go to the library to figure it out, they're going through like a variety of different apocalyptic events from where the gum was created to where it becomes a problem. They mention like 4 of them in the future, which I want to just real quick. So there was a climate disaster of 2048, the 2049 eruption of Krakatoa volcano, the swallow extinction of 2050, and the tsunami of 2051. Okay, so those are four moments that are like 20 or 30 years from now, right? And we've all seen how The Simpsons have weirdly predicted future moments that have happened now. Like, what if they pulled the same stunt in this show? I'm just saying, like, that would be ridiculous on those 4 crazy events, dude.
Even if they
wild.
picked one of them.
Is that like 30 years from now?
We're in 2020, so 2048. I mean, we're only 20.
We'll be here. We're gonna have to hit each other
I
up.
don't want to be there for the swallow extinction. That's
I know.
That's gonna be too much.
Dang.
It's gonna break your heart.
But the climate disaster 2048 sounds likely, because I mean, we're already talking about climate change and all that stuff and how it could be real and how it's not real and stuff. But like, I mean, like, it's been weird, wild weather on the East Coast for the last like 2 or 3 months. It's been like cold, it's been hot, it's been rainy, it's been sunny, like it's everything, and no one can really get that idea. So I found it kind of funny those particular 4 moments in of the years. But yeah, sorry, we can continue from that. That's all I'm gonna say.
No, it's good. It'll be interesting to see if those play out. I mean, obviously, I'm not sure I'll still have a YouTube channel to post on, 30 years from now. But hey, if I do, the 3 of us will have to get back together and, be like, Eddie, you remember when you said that one day, and.
We'll be doing this on like VR at that point.
Yeah, we're gonna be. I don't even know. Like 30 years from now,
we'll be It'll be like, honestly, like Star Wars. We'll be holograms.
Like Ready Player One is where we're gonna be by that point.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna. That's how we're gonna play football when we're old. We're just gonna VR into it. So okay, all right. So
that'd be awesome.
So obviously they get there, and then it starts. They start looking around the warehouse or the shop or store or whatever it is. They split up a bit. There's a bunch of people who are actually there scared. They're trying to figure it out. And as they're separated and split up, Loki's with the B-15, I think her name is.
B-15.
Yeah. And all of a sudden, B-15 starts acting weird. And like, I think there might have been a moment where you saw like a green thing tap.
Yeah, so there was a moment where like there was darkness behind her and you see a finger touch her temple.
That's right. That's
right.
Wait,
hold on. That was in the beginning with her in the rocks cart spot. There was a black dude who was like shopping for plants.
Oh, that's right. The shopping for plants. My bad.
Yeah, and then he grabs her by the arm and then it transfers.
Plants, grabs her arm and transports.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Right.
Yeah. So
her and Loki see that guy looking at plants, and he was like, "There's a great deal on like azaleas."
Yeah.
And
you're like, what?
Yeah, it was so random.
Like, you're right. B-15. That was.
Yeah. So
funny.
Either way, she gets controlled, or dare I say, enchanted, with some sort of power or something, and that's when it's evident that whatever happened there is some sort of control by this. At this point, person. I'm not. Yes. I'll leave it at that for the moment. There's a bunch of interaction where he's talking to all these different people, and I don't know, Eddie, where you lead us through the scene and your thoughts a little bit.
So it's Roxcart, which is a variation of Roxxon. It's a company like I think like Mike said, it's like Oscorp. It's one of those companies that has like they have that. They're a shadowy company with like that friendly kind of like, hey, we're all here to help out the world, but really we're doing all this secret stuff in the bottom, and you don't ever know about it until we have to expose to you.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they're in the store, and they're going through, and the variant that they're looking for is pulling what Wanda did in Age of Ultron, where she just kind of like taps you, and just you seeing all this, and like the eyes turn green, and then you become what this variant is. And she's kind of walking Loki through like why she's doing what she's doing, but like not giving him away the whole plan like most bad guys do, which is so annoying. But when he calls her Lady Loki, like she gets like offended by it. She's like, no. Like
he never calls her Lady Loki. He calls her Loki.
Just Loki, right?
Yeah.
She just calls her Loki.
And I think at this point, either she's that guy or Randy. The other guy, like she transport, and she goes, "Just call me Randy." Like
yeah, that's right.
Right.
Like just
because
she hasn't been quantified as a woman yet.
Right, because it's fluid. But yeah, so she was the black guy, and then she became B-15, and then it was the Roxxon worker, and then that one
and then the big giant guy.
Yeah. And just fighting Loki, telling him like everything that you're doing is irrelevant to my plan. Like I'm going through with this. It's going to happen. And then we'll get to what she did, but I want to get Mike's thoughts first. I'm not going to dive into that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, no, I think I like the interaction where Loki is basically talking to her, but not to her, obviously physically, but just like her mind. Also, I want to mention at the same time, Mobius and that other crew finds that original officer, and she's all freaked out. She's like stuttering. She's going. I told them that, like, just going nuts, which I thought was like fairly interesting because it was just one of those things where I didn't realize, like, you didn't realize what those powers could do, because that officer wasn't controlled by her anymore, but she was just like gibberish. It was like she was just, her mind was gone.
Right.
That was happening at the same time, and then also while Loki's talking to these iterations of this other Loki, we'll call it, he sees the time resets all being connected in different areas, kind of like a bomb. So he thinks, I think, like there's a giant bomb that's going to go off in the building. And you obviously, like, going towards the end, you realize it's something different. But I don't think he realized the plan that was going on, because I thought, even when I saw all those, I was like, it's just a giant reset bomb. I didn't know what was happening in that. But I thought the iterations of the people she controlled, that person Loki controlled, I thought they were all very, like, funny and unique. Like, I liked Randy a lot. And then I liked the big giant one that, like, just beat the crap out of Loki, which I find funny because Loki should have powers in that world.
Right.
He just got beat up by like a normal hobunk dude in Alabama.
Yeah. Yeah, I struggled with that a bit. I'm not gonna lie. When I was watching, I'm like, unless there's some magical powers that is, like, you know, that you can't see within that person, like, this should not happen. You know,
well, the only thing I could think of is like the iteration when they have mind control, that, like, the Loki that gave the mind control has their powers.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see that.
That's the only, like, facet of, like, non-reality I could think of. But I was like, it's just like, yeah, he's a big dude, but, like, you fought the Hulk.
The Hulk, yeah, the Hulk, yeah. Well, I mean, look, I mean,
Thor.
You like kind of fought all these crazy beings. You're being beat up by a dude from Alabama.
But at the same time, and real quick, I want to say when B-15 got whatever she got by the variant, she even came up the same with the C-20 did, where she was kind of like just like blown away by what had happened. She felt kind of like, I don't want to say violated, but she felt kind of weak-minded.
Right.
But if we go back to the Avengers, Loki, I mean, he's gone up against, like, bigger people, but he's always gotten smacked down. Like, even when he fought Coulson, at the end he ended up shooting him. You know what I'm saying? Like, he always got bested. You know what I'm saying? And so that kind of makes sense that he would get beat up by, like, a hobunk Alabama dude, because he's always gotten beat up like that. He's never really had the advantage on anybody. Yeah, I didn't know he was. I didn't know he was telekinetic. Like, he pulled on a Roomba.
Yeah, that was the first time we've seen that in the MCU.
I was like, when did he have that?
Yeah, that was the first time.
Also, in the comics, I'm pretty sure this happened. I'm pretty sure I saw this. I read this. That Lady Loki in the comics happened because it was like Loki's, like, I'm not sure what it was. Like his spirit, like his entity, like inhabited like a person.
Loki like put his
consciousness.
So I think I read the same thing, but, like, from what I remember, how they described it is Loki passed on, I'll call it, the possibility of his power onto this girl, and she thought she became like this sorcerer supreme.
Right.
And I mean that, like, not in like the sorcerer supreme way, but like this powerful entity. But I think it was like almost like a mind, like it was just a mind thing.
Right.
We can talk about that later. Anyway.
Yeah. Okay.
So, so my question for you
Thor?
guys, yeah. So, you know, these interactions are fun with him trying to figure out the plan, and I got to rewatch the episode again to see if I, you know, because it feels like there might have been some stuff I missed. But I mean, the part I want to hear from you guys a little bit, and because I'm not sure I have a theory, is what is this, you know, Loki doing? The bad vote Loki, the variant. Because and we'll get into who I think she is and all that stuff because of what you guys shared with me. but like, so I saw, I think you guys said, I don't remember if you said it on air or off air, but that the way these time bombs or whatever they're called, the pruning bombs work, is that it's supposed to reset the timeline. But when she does it, it like starts all these other timelines. And the part that's interesting though, that I think is that they actually, each one of those goes through an individual like little mini time portal. So that's a difference to me. I don't know what it's doing or why she did that. But I'm actually a bit lost on what I think she's doing. I know she's trying to screw stuff up. I know she's against the timekeepers or the timeline in some way, and that she's just trying to do something. But outside of that, I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, I'm just kind of like, all right, she's just up to something. So I don't know. I mean, I want to hear from you guys kind of where you're at with that.
Yeah. I think, so obviously the first two episodes, like you see, we'll call it a her now because she took off her hood and it is a woman. But in the first couple episodes, you see she's trying to steal these resets. Specifically, like she kills all these officers from the TVA and just specifically takes all these things. Now I thought when I saw that she was setting up these things in the store, I thought she was trying to get a scenario to destroy the TVA. Yeah. That's what I thought. When I saw that it was going to different timelines, I don't recall exactly what timelines there were, but my mindset on it now, talking to us before, is that things that were supposed to happen in the timeline, major things, like things that weren't going to destroy the world, let's say, like the Avengers beating Loki or whatever, she's doing a reset on that and messing it up. Mm-hmm. That's where I think those resets are going, and that's what's causing these Nexus branch events. She's taking the things that were supposed to happen by the timekeepers, like major ones, and specifically messing it up. Right. I could be wrong, but I really thought she was trying to destroy the TVA. Like I thought all those bombs were going to go into the office of the TVA and just like reset everything. Right. Obviously, we don't know what's going to go till next episode, but that's where I think it's going. Okay. Eddie, you for, against, pro, none?
I'm for and against, if that's possible. Hear me out. So,
like every dad I've ever had.
So she steals reset charges, and I think in the second episode she was stealing their little armbands that have all like the different stuff on to help them kind of like open those portals.
I think it's the door portal. That opens the doors.
So she steals those and she steals the charges. There's like there's like, I don't know, 50 from that picture. There were a lot.
A lot, yeah.
And so she drops them, and there's a theory that I saw that I thought was genius, and so she drops them in there, and they all transport to different times. Which I took pictures of all those places that we saw towards the end of the episode, and I'll talk about those in a second. But I think the idea is to drop those in different timelines, which then will draw out the TVA like Minutemen to go to those timelines and find those reset charges. But then all the TVA is wide open, the same way that what was it in like Dark Knight, or no? What was the third?
No, it was Dark Knight, where like it opens up like the prison or like the thing to get like the cops are all gone.
Yeah. So that it leaves like the TVA is completely unmanned by anybody that can protect it, and which then gives her a way to get to the timekeepers unopposed. So in a way, I agree with you, Mike, but also I'm like, I think it's also because of this reason too. Some of the locations that they mention, so like one of them is Vormir, one of them is Asgard it says February 16th, 2004, which I think takes place before the first Thor. So that's interesting. Vormir takes place on April 23rd, which I think was the same day that Infinity War came out, which is pretty cool. There's one on Sakaar, there's one on Ego, there's like a handful in like Portugal.
So she's putting them in places that already had disasters.
Right, but these are like random timelines. Like we're talking like, so Vormir in like 2301, Asgard in 2004. There's a Thornton USA which doesn't exist because I think there's only like there's Thorntons, but not like Thornton. But yeah, we're talking like Vietnam in 1522, and like what is it? Rome, Italy in 1390. There's egos on here. New York in 1947, which someone had made the connection that it might have been Cap when he went back to visit Peggy, but I think that happened in like the early 40s. I'm not sure which one that was. There's one for Hala, which I believe is, what's that one? Oh, I forgot which one that one was. Dang it! But there's one for Titan too in 1982. Titan is where
Thanos
is from.
Thanos.
And they had an observation like maybe the reset charge was sent there at a time when either Titan was on the brink of extinction, so maybe that reset will fix it, and then like Thanos doesn't become Thanos, and like all this, like there's all these different theories about like where these all went. One went to Xandar, one went to Spain, and like one went to China in 2005 when like SARS was happening. Like so like who knows where all these moments were happening, but like they were very specific events, and they were sending out people to go and handle them. But if they were, like Mike mentioned, all the branches are breaking out because they're new timelines now. But those reset charges are supposed to bring those back into the flow of time. So it's weird that it would do the opposite. It would have the opposite effect of what it's supposed to do, or what we've seen so far. Whew.
Yeah, I was like, that's I'm impressed you took all those pictures. I'm like, part of me is kind of like, well, yeah, she clearly messed up a lot of them. I was like, you said Vormir, isn't that where Black Widow? Isn't it the Soul Stone, right? Yeah.
Soul
I mean,
is, yeah.
we've seen that preview of some interaction there, so I wonder if that's kind of where, Loki. I know he followed her into the portal, but he clearly is going to start running around doing some things, and I'm making that connection, seeing that shot, and in hearing you say that. That was one of the images, and I'm like, so is he, I don't know. I'm very interested to see, because I'm starting to wonder if like he's going to be convinced by who I'm going to call Enchantress, which we'll get to in a second, that they should be going against the TVA and these timekeepers, and that she's going to take him to all these spots and see this. And I don't know. And maybe even he's going to be the one who eventually gives her the power to eventually bring him back into this, whatever. I'm looping, right? And like we said, we don't want to get too much in that time stuff, but yeah, that's interesting.
Someone had pointed out that there was a connection to the trailer. There was a shot in the trailer for Loki where he's standing in front of looks like a throne on Asgard. And then one of the portal or one of the reset charges goes to Asgard in 2004, and the theory was like that reset charge would then maybe like flip history in the sense that like instead of Thor becoming the the king of Asgard over Odin, that somehow Odin and Thor would die, and then Loki would then rise to power. So like that they were like relating that to that shot that was used in the trailer, which would be like interesting.
Yeah,
okay,
for sure.
Cool. Like. Yeah, so I thought it was really cool. I don't know, it was just weird to take pictures and see what they came out of.
Yeah.
Well, I think I also said too that I think I said it the last time we talked was I think the trailers have done a good job to where I think the Enchantress or this lady Loki, whatever you want to call it, I don't think she's like the main person. So I think like another Loki is a part of it, and I think in the trailers you've seen the other Loki, but you think it's the Loki as part of it. Like the one with the horns and the suit. I think there's one part where like he's actually in the TV. He's like, "What do you think it was me?" Like he does like something. I think it's gonna be like that kind of like, almost like what was it in WandaVision? Vision versus Vision.
Yeah.
Like it was like the other Vision sort of thing.
That could be cool.
Hilarious.
So I think there's possibly someone else pulling the strings, and I think those areas that Eddie you mentioned, I think it's to draw people out, like you said. I do like your theory on that and your idea.
Interesting.
I think getting in the TVA, I feel like is what someone is trying to do.
Yeah.
Right.
I agree.
Because I think when they were talking to the one guard who was like all like freaked out, she had told the variant like where the timekeepers were. So it seems like that's her whole plan, was to empty out the TVA so she can just get in there clean.
I like it. So, I've kind of been hinting a little bit about this whole Enchantress thing, and I remember one of you guys picked this up in the closed captions. Is that when
Mike?
it was Mike's mentioned it, saying he said, "I think it's Enchantress," and we were like, "What? What?" And he's like, "If you look at the closed captions, they call her Sylvie." And I was like, I didn't watch it with closed captions. And then I've actually, after you said that, I've seen an image of a language. I don't know what language it was, but it was something outside of the United States, actually have her casted as Sylvie. So there's something going on there that's either leading us down the wrong direction, or it was intentionally put there, or what I probably think is something that was overlooked. I think we talked about this a little bit beforehand, that they just didn't realize they had the closed captions in there, and it just made it through. So the question is who's this Sylvie? So if you go looking around Wiki, there's this Sylvie Lushton, and you guys probably can't see this, but I've got up on the screen a wiki page of this Sylvie Lushton from Earth 616, which, if you remember the tape, do you remember the tape in the Loki? It says, the film strip says Earth 616. Long and short of it is that she's got a history with Loki. He gave her powers, and she's basically she takes the name of Amora the Enchantress. So she's got some interaction with the Asgardians. She actually becomes paired with Wiccan, who, if you recall, is from WandaVision and one of Wanda's kids. She's got a stint with the Young Avengers. There's a whole bunch of other things here with Briggs Chemical. I don't know if that's really necessarily relevant. Doom's Maiden, the Illuminati, which, again, that's...
Illuminati might be a big one for Doctor Strange.
Yeah, exactly. Sure. Yeah, I mean, at some point, the Illuminati have to show up. I'm thinking maybe they never touch it, but...
I think they're going to show up for the new movie.
Yeah, you might be right.
Multiverse of Madness?
Yeah, I think the Illuminati is going to show up, yeah.
That'd be awesome. Now, it also goes on to say that Sylvie was actually not the real Enchantress. There's another one. So, again, who knows what's going on with that. And then it goes on with her powers and abilities and sorcery, mental manipulation. Is there anything about transmutation, teleportation, deflection? So anyway, telekinesis. So yeah, what are your guys' thoughts on this? Mike, you're the one who saw it first, so I want to, ask you.
I think she might be like I said, I think there's potential to where like she has a boss or someone managing her, what she's doing, or pulling the strings. But yeah, I think for sure she's not, because I don't think she's Lady Loki, because when she was called Loki by Loki in the other, like, she was like disgusted, like, please don't call me that. Like, ugh, like that, a Loki would want to be called Loki. So I think, she wants to almost like be called her own thing. So I think she's going to end up being Enchantress for sure. The Sylvie name, I mean, that's a huge teaser. Whether that was accidental by Disney or on purpose, it was smart. They do Easter eggs all the time, so maybe it got overlooked, maybe it didn't. But I think there's more to meet the eye with the possible villain going towards the end of this show, and we'll kind of see. But it's not Mephisto for sure.
Darn.
But yeah, I think there's going to be someone else pulling the strings. It might even be the literal current Loki that's finding all these answers. Who knows? But we'll see. Because like I said, there's also a real thing where I think the Timekeepers might be, or the TVA might be like the bad guys.
I agree with that.
And it's an end around sort of thing of figuring that out, because like we've said, it feels very cult-like, it feels very like propaganda-ish, it feels very like more than meets the eye sort of thing. So but still, so far the show's really awesome. So I'll watch this thing every Wednesday at 3 a.m. if I have to.
That's funny. All right, what about you, Eddie?
I mean, I agree with Mike. I didn't notice the Sylvie thing. Mike brought that up, and I I was okay. Well, that's one thing. I mean, we've been misled by Marvel so many times. There's been so many times where we've watched trailers where like, even in Infinity War, they showed a trailer where it was Hulk and everybody coming down the road to Wakanda, and that shot was never in the movie. Like, so we've all been as they say, Kansas City shuffle, where we look left and then they go right. So I'm just kind of riding it out. But I am curious though, like with all the multiverses being messed with right now with that big reset charge drop, like I'm curious how it's going to look, and if that were to stay, how that would look in Doctor Strange. Like if they're like going through like a variety of multiverses as to what's going to happen with that. How it ties in with Wanda when she's looking for her kids, going through the when she's going through the what was it, the Necra? No,
the Necromancer, the Darkhold.
The Darkhold, yeah. How that's gonna look, how that's gonna play in, if it does tie in at all. So what's happening right now is cool because it's only episode 2. We got 4 more to go, so that's cool.
I know. I figures I'm digging it. I like it a lot. That's pretty much what we got for this episode. So, like Eddie just said, looking forward to the rest. We'll definitely keep watching it, keep doing the videos. So if you made it this far, we definitely appreciate you guys hanging out. I mentioned early on that you get the giveaway once we get to that 10,000 subscriber mark. So go ahead and hammer down the like button. Follow the Discord link in the description below to follow the content. Click the notification bell and obviously do the subscribe so we can get a little bit closer. And if you want to get into the subscription giveaway, like I mentioned, comment below. Just say hi to us. Ask us how our day is going, right? So we appreciate you stopping by. And until next time, hope you have a wonderful day. See ya.